Okay. Boom. Here we are. It is a cold night tonight. There we go. It's a cold night. So look at me. I'm almost fully dressed. Almost fully dressed. It's crazy, I know, right? This place does not contain heat very well, and my gratitude for upgrading to warmer sleeping quarters. Perhaps the warmest sleeping quarters. Works for me. Anyway, yeah. Definitely. I will be doing this for a while, just because it's going a little slow with a lot of the life gridlock that hit me this week. Putting a slight kibosh on things, on top of everything else that I've done in this time too, because I've had an interview or two pop up. But as you know, I overload you with them damn drive streams, and I'm sure at least 50% of any given drive stream I do makes sense. But anyway, we gotta at least get through this thing, and what we got a ways to go on this ancient Finnish mythology. I love saying mythology.
Hell I ga bergen. Sju hell I ga.
I couldn't spend the time to find a really good spot to just start, so just try to pick up some context, and I think I threw it back about a minute from where we left off, just to give us a little crossover tape, okay?
Bergen, de 7 heliga bergen I hell. Now, all these rabbis who come from the ringlands in the paradise time, they are offering their sperm to the...
Now, by the way, the thing that a lot of people are talking about certain elite rabbis within what we understand as the quote Jewish unquote conspiracy, right? Which there's a highly specific context in which that speaks that does not strip anyone of their fucking humanity. All right? That's the level that I'm at. I'll probably get demonetized anyway. Anyway, this is what's amazing about the Bock Saga, is that it's like, here it is. This is like, it's not the conspiracy, but it is showing you what it is, right? These are specific types. And if we remember the prior part of the story of where they come from, these rabbis are the intermediaries between the cut-off king line, still connected directly to Frey and Freya, at north, the Hyperboreans, and what is then effectively the rest of the world, primarily through the Arctic peoples, right? Because the Arctic peoples were the ones that were the second or the last race to emerge out of Atlantis, because everybody else was tropical, right? I'm not monetized, but I'll never get monetized. Whatever. Channel will get destroyed. They'll nuke the channel. Whatever will happen. And then I have to start again with 10 subs. And you'll see me here again. It's the Wheel of Sansara. That's what YouTube does to people that don't follow the script. They put them on the Wheel of Sansara by cutting you down and then destroying your ability to rebuild. Corey is here because he's gone through the same goddamn algorithmic fucking gauntlet. You know? This thing that fucking tries to strip you of your fucking dignity.
10 boys of Ukko in the 7th temple in hell. And after that, they are offering to their father, Ukko, in Valhalla. Now Ukko's father has been drinking the sperm from his tenting Theo. The tenting Theo has been drinking the sperm from the rabbis all over the planet. And all the rabbis has at home in their England been drinking from the Jarls.
Okay, yeah. So this was getting through this whole thing of how the fertile energy is run back up to the top, right? And I can't remember if this part of the story is before or after Atlantis. I still think we're before Atlantis because the rabbis, I think, existed before, and then they had this new job when the paradise was destroyed.
In the temple. And the Jarls has been drinking from the car in the car belly. And the car has been drinking from the tree in the offer, lung, where the offer their sperm. In paradis et time.
Yeah, in Paradise. Yeah, so yeah. In the yeah, and you know what's interesting? I was listening to Jason Giorgiani, and here's the thing. Apparently in the Iranian language, which I think he says he goes into in his latest books, Satanas, which I like Jason Reza Giorgiani tremendously. I got several points that I disagree with, including points that he makes in this interesting interview he just did with Uberboyo, which was fucking epic. And in it, one of the points he did make linguistically is an understanding of the context of the Paradisha or something, as it's called in like his native tongue, and it's kind of oh man, what the hell was the etymology? Shit, he explained the etymology, and it was definitely not cool. It was definitely you don't want to fucking be here, right? Because I think it had something to do with the Devis or the Asur, whichever ones were the ones that were the bastards, the people being in control or something like that, right? So, depending on how you look at it, right? Because this is the riddle of the Antichrist, right? Because you're labeled an Antichrist just because you boldly take the position against a thing labeled Christ-like, right? And then you can just replace Christ with whatever your fucking victim hero of the week is, right? We all know how 2020 went down because of one of their victim heroes, which was also a bridge too far. What's up, Dustin? So this sperm line thing, right? This is before there's money, right? This is money circulating back up to the top of the Federal Reserve. Think of cash as this is your vital product, right? Your first, most foremost, primordial, vital product is the army in your fucking nuts, men. Where are you welcome and where are you invading?
And Ras, Reis, and Root, Rocky. Root means the root, and the root of U is root U, and U become O, so come rotu. And rotu in Finnish means race. 50,010,008 years ago.
Also, another primordial psyche thing that is also dawning on me is connected to this. Well, actually, just articulating it. It dawned on me as soon as I heard it the very first time, but I didn't have words for it. And words pop in, right? Ascension means something different depending on your perception of reality, right? In the last century, ascension, in America meant becoming like a big star, right? You became like the Hollywood diva or something like that, or like you had a local level of everybody loves you in town. You're like local hero. You maybe had a small goal that was satisfactory to your soul development, right? I sit here on YouTube wondering if if my soul development is meant to ever peak. Have I peaked? And stop worrying about growing. Sabotage like you always do and relax, go work at the warehouse. You wanted to make music anyway, right? But I sit here and I put my ass on the line talking about sperm going back up to the North Pole. All because this madness is much more entertaining and useful, believe it or not.
When this axle shift and the whole thing changed, we get now 10 tropical races and 1 arctical race. And this happened 50,010,008 years ago. That means that the top of the planet become covered by ice, like one calotte, one hat, white hat on the Gulf. And the Gulf Stream made it so it could exist for an Atlantic period where inside in the ice was staying the pirouette, rosette family. But outside of the ice become 10 different kings. And now we come to the king system. Because when in this original system, the family has 1 breeder and 1 king and 1 queen. The breeder by itself, he is the father, but the king and queen is not father and mother. In this principle that if you have own children, you are completely different to your surrounding than if you have no children by yourself. So still up to 1950s in Finland, the teacher had no right to have children because in that case she concentrated on her own children. But now if she don't have own children, she give all the feeling to the people around her, the others' children. So before in Paradise time, we had 1 who was the king of the family and 1 who was the breeder of the family. But when we come after Paradise time to the 10 different tropical kings, they are without different breeder and king. It means the same person is king and breeder. And from them we have the P king. And P means wooden, P means the circle, P means ispole. And from ispole come the spurs. So Peking is the king of Peking, what we call China today. This Chinese king, he was also allfather to all these people who has these special eyes who we still today can see from the people of Peking. And the Peking people has also 1 different prick head than man. Then the next one is the Narkasun people, who is in Hindi style. And there is where we are now. And best take it out. They are all 10 exactly the same, but that means that Narkasul, he is the king by himself, he is the Rama. Narkasul, he take one beauty and healthy woman, and she becomes Sita. And she is the sound of children making, or children. Se is the offering sound, but Si is the children making sound. So Sita, she take the Si, and Sita is the female for Rama, Rama Sita, what means Narkasul with his crown prince mother. So it became one where the first son always inherited the father's head when the head dies. That's the king system. So the first son of Narkasul become crown prince or crown follower. When the second, third, fourth, fifth, etc. all become Ma, Ha, Ra, Di, and Ah. Maha means that they have the Ma. Maha means that the Maharaja have the Ma, Maha, and he has also the Ra, Mahara. And Di is when you take out it, Maharadi and Ah. So the Maharadiya, the Maharaja, is the son of Narkasul. The Maharaja is the same, like one Ravi. The Maharaja's son is called Radiya, because they have no Ma. So they are only Radiya, Raja. And the Raja's children are Kar. And the Kar's children are Ga, Ti, means giving tea. Ga, Ashnas grund, and Ti is stor, Gati. And the Gati's father is the Kar. The Kar's father is the Raja. And the Raja's father is the Maharaja. And the Maharaja's father is the Narkasul. Narkasul, he has...
Now, it's funny how it's the Maharaja, because, you know, Ma is feminine. But it's supposed to be like the sun. Shoot, I'm forgetting the masculine off the top of my head, but that's unless you're talking about Raja, because then Man, you could, it would be more of a mankind kind of thing, right? But Ior is absolute stickler on pronunciation, so that N is not there. And it's not there when Jim Chesner says it either, right? So, it is more likely a derivative then, perhaps, if all of these speculations I just made are properly founded. Okay, anyway, that's just me bringing up, the important questions that come to mind. This is studying together. That's what this is.
He center in Puu is Kar. Puskar. Puu is Odenspole, where the sperm come from. From Odenspole, Puu. S is the sun, and Kar, because from H to K. Kar. Puu, S, Kar, in Hin, Di, Stan. And we have Hin Gode and Hin Onde. And Hin Di, and we probably offer for Hin. Maybe Hin Hole, or Hin Gode, or Hin Di, Stan. Stan means center. He can also walk into the Stan still today in the north, where this language comes. So Hin Di Stan is the Stan, the center, where the Di is the Hin.
Stag? Is that what he's saying? The word stag means center? Ma is land, soil, earth. Right, yes, and that's Mother Earth, right? In most mythologies, it's Father Sky, Mother Earth, right? And that is consistent with the relationship between Ukko and Akka. All right. But anyway, let's. I think I made my point there. Let's keep going.
So also an offer system has been existing according to sound system. Yeah. The Gati people was meeting each other in the offer mode and offered to the car. And the car is going to the couple here and offer to the Raja. And the Raja is going and offering for the Maharaja. And the Maharajas is going home to pull his car to him in star and offerings for Narkasurs array. Now we have 10 different of these Narkasurs. One is King, one is Narkasur, one is Sultan, one is Suleiman. So we call 10 different tropical races of people who are Arctic, tropical people. 10 tropical races with the theory, the system of Narkasur, Maharaja, Raja, Kar, and Ras. Paradise at time started 50 million, 10,008 years ago. So we get 10 tropical races with 10 tropical prickheads of the men.
Okay, he said 50 million something thousand years ago. Just want to give us a perspective there. We're a little over 50 million years back as of 1992.
So if you go in the sauna with one Chinese, you can see he's built completely different. His hut on the wall is completely different than one from Hindustan. And if you go to see one Turkish guy in his trousers, he looks completely different than one necros. So we can figure out in the history these races from the prickhead of these men, because they are different. Now, inside in Alt land is. Alt means all, land means land, and is means the ice. Alt land is per I earth. Outland is per jord. Is one Uden thing. It's the Arctical. Yeah. The Arctical world started with the ice who become one calotte on the top of the planet, and in the same time we get one gulf, like the Gulf ball today. One stream go through the English Channel, to the Gulf of Norway, Oslo, and down to Germany and reborn into the Gulf of Finland. And in this Gulf of Finland, this Gulf stream started to make one rosette of hot water, to create one hole in the ice, and possibly for us people to stay in 50 million years without to have any contact with the 10 tropical races. The Arctical people we created with our blue and green eyes, with our blonde hair, in one period of 50 million inside in the ice. Where the fire for us became number one. The fire has always been number one, is one part of Uden, because with fire we can heat up water, and with hot water we can take out the mahla from the leaf. And without the mahla from the leaf we couldn't exist in the paradise time. So without fire we couldn't take out the mahla. So of course fire is number one. And especially inside in the Outlandies, the fire become the one. And there we get one house called Saab, E, B, R, and T. Savupirti. And Savupirti is one square box with one hole in the roof, one hole in the wall, and one door. And in the middle of this room is the fireplace, the hearth, Hemmets hearth. And around this fire we was living, and we started to grow because we get a new kind of nature gift called pine tree. And the pine tree is dying by itself after 300 years or 200 years, and every time one pine tree dies, it's leaved with ma, earth, jord here. Because this planet was before only bedrock, sand and water, but later on this ma, jord, has been arriving. When the tree is dying or the leaf is falling down, it comes more of this ma. And now we could be ma, viljelijä. We could grow the ma inside in Altlandis period. When the paradise time, we was eating only fruit. And have bread, we must have been having the seed of the bread, but not so much as we had to create in one cold climate inside in the Outlandies. We get the domestic animals, the klövdjur, the pig, the sheep, the cow, the chicken, and they are all Arctical animals. Because today you can put up one chicken, one cow, one pig, and one sheep in the Arctical Lapinmaa today, and there is 30-degree cold in the winter, and in the spring, if this animal still is there, they are all Arctical. But if you put one giraffe there, he will die for sure. So you are sure that giraffe is tropical. So now this domestic animal is made for us to eat, what was completely new thing here in this. They never heard about such a thing in the tropical. So to eat meat, it has been created in one period of Outlandies. The Outlandies period was going on in 50 million, and after 50 million years, 10,008 years ago, the Gulf Stream had been eating on the Norwegian coast. So now when the North Sea become opened, and when the North Sea and the fastland opened 10,008 years ago, the whole ice started to roll, and it rolled and took all these stones with them, so they become round stones called hiden kirnu in Van language, jättegrytor in root language. When all these stones rolled with this mass of ice over Outlandies, smashed it, and all the stones go to Estonia, and on Estonia is still all these round stones from that what happened 10,008 years ago. But 10,008 years ago, Raphael and Sarah, with the 7 daughters and 7 sons, had gone to Bockland. And Bockland is today called Gotland, Goatland, with Lummelunda Grottor, and inside in Lummelunda, there these people could go with their domestic animal and their seed. And from there start the story about 1,000-year period of when we was living in Gotland and Öland, the Arctical people. And from 9,008 years ago, Ukko-Akka, Lemminkäinen Joutsen, Seppo-Maija is moving back to Uudenmaa, to the new building called Raasepuri, what was ready for the winter, because it was winter castle, what still exists in Finland, who was ready already 9,008 years ago, when the 9,008 years ago, when the family was moving back to Uudenmaa. But same time, 2 boys, one called Sven. And
so 9,800 years ago, right? So you just heard about an abbreviation of 50 million years of time from where I had paused before and said, let's note here 50 million years ago, right? So this is a manner in which this context of the Bock Saga, this particular way you tell a story, He just told you 50 million years of fucking history in just a few minutes because it was very specific to a certain thing explaining what was going on with massive swaths of genetic material running around in the human population. Tropical peoples, Arctic peoples, and the original families in the north, trying to keep the family together, right? But mom and dad are starting to kind of feel a little bit old-fashioned, and the kids kind of want to grow up and leave the house. Like, Dad, can I leave the house? What do you mean leave the house? I own everything. Right? This is the problem. Right? Too many kids now have their own ideas because they've spent enough time separated from Dad. And Mom, obviously, right? We were highly mono-minded. Highly mono-minded before this was broken up. Right? This is an ugly way that our mono-minded civilization had to be broken up. I mean, like, I'm being really I'm not saying we were mono-minded the entire fucking time, but I am saying that I think that as the population grew, there was probably a missing cue. Like, Odin probably was sending sun signals, like the way the sun has changed from time to time, like the sun's white, the sun's yellow, the sun's off-white. I mean, like, whatever Odin wanted to give me on the eclipse, my ritual fucking gave me. I feel fucking fantastic about it. So, my point is that we reach a certain population and you're going to lose a certain level of cohesion, especially because the very top of the family is going to have a hard time carrying about a certain degree down, right? And so this mythology of soul strength is in play. And I think that is maybe real, but I think that it needs to be understood in a more sophisticated manner because it means a hard start for a lot of people. Perhaps I'm of a certain stock that's that. Like, it's interesting to think about. And it's also interesting to think about, well, I mean, like, how bad is it? What does it mean? Like, how far down the rung are we? How do we measure who's up the rung and down the rung of fucking soul strength? That's a crazy thing to fucking be in charge of, right? Is this what these fuckers are in charge of over in fucking London when they're fucking meticulously going over these fucking bloodlines which claim this whole German Jewish thing? Anyway.
Another one called Dan, they moved over to the west, and Sven, he became king in Uppsala, and Dan, he became king at Julland. And this king and queen has the same system as the 10 tropical races. The first son of Sven become crown prince. The second, third, fourth, fifth become hertig. Hertig av Norrmannaland, hertig av Södermannaland, hertig av Östgötaland, etc., etc. And every hertig, what is the son from the king's sperm, get one hertigdöme. In the hertigdöme, this hertig is making the jarl woman pregnant, coming out jarl boys and jarl girls. The jarl men is making the car woman pregnant, coming out car girls and car boys. And the car men is making the trail woman pregnant and coming out trail girls and trail boys. Exactly in the same system with the same language as from Oden Ma. Referred over with Sven and Dan, who become like svenskarar and danskarar with the language from Odenma, who created 112 system language outside of Odenma. The 10 system language is the Vaner, living from Torneo to the border of China, Peking to the border of Narkasul and to the border of Sultan. This is the Sultan, Narkasul and Peking are the border to the Piruet, Ruset, Jarlet, Karlet and Trelet people after the ice time. When Sven and Dan is going to the west and creating very quickly the island group outside of Norway to be one culture. With the Arctical people with the same language root as the root language we communicate on this tape at the moment is a language called English Enrique language, what is created outside of Norway on one island group about 9,000 years ago. That's the people from Sven. The people from Dan become the Middle Europe. So the Middle Europe people is mostly with blue and green eyes, Arctical people, original from Outlandese, going out to Bockland, Öland, become Sven and Dan's sperm lines with king and hertigdömen with Jarlet, Karlet and Trelet. Same in Sven and Dan going out to the west and populating also with the same system, the island group outside of Norway, with 2 king, one from the line of Sven and one from the Dan, who also is making children. Now 2 different children maker kings existed on the islands outside of Norway. Now, when you see this, that we have now 3 Arctical et and 10 tropical et. Now all the tropical 10 has different prick heads. And also the 3 Arctical has different. So if I go in sauna in Russia, we look exactly the same, this mushroom form. But if you go here, it's a spool form. It's completely different. So from there, I can go in one sauna with British people and I can look and see how one of them coming from Sven and I had one from Dan and I come from myself. The year 862, one man called Rurik created one et more called Linga et. The et from Sven in Uppsala was called Ynglinga et. And 862, Ynglinga et divided in one sideline called Linga et. With king system, 862. The year 987, Nordarike Rusland become Greek Orthodox. With the head, the Sultan in Constantinople as the head. With the written system, the same as going out from Rome, who 1008, the Swedish king, become crowned by the bishop.
Did you say just 2008 right there? Swedish king gets crowned by the bishop? That's I'm pretty sure there wasn't a Swedish king in 2008 BC. So, yeah.
And that result was that the trail people making children with the trail people, the car people making children with the car people, and the yarn people making children with the yarn people. And with the religion, this whole old heathen system of Allfather was away. 987 in Russia and 1008 in Sweden. But up to 1050 in Finland, we had one Allfather. We had one man who could say, I am the father to all the Finnish people. who lived between Tornio River and the Vane River near up to 1050 in Finnish history. We was the last. 1050 we come attacked the 24/7, 1050 by one Swiss army led plant by the Poles. And they destroyed Uudenmaa 1050 and Sepoilmaja, Ukoaka. They escaped to one place called Korvatunturi. And in Korvatunturi they become very, very famous because they go around with one sled with 8 reindeers. And he was the father, Krist, Mess, Baba, Natal. Babu means father. Père means also father, like Père Noël in France. And Diet Maros in Russia. This man, this Ukko, in this mythology, he is the man with the red and white top hat, who everybody knows going around with 8 reindeers in Lapinmaa, who get over 500,000 letters every year from people on the planet send it to him.
Okay.
He is the...
Okay. Hey! You see, there's a reason why this shit takes forever, because, you know, it needs to come out when it needs to come out. We're 5 days away from Santa Claus. Here's the Bock Saga's explanation of fucking Santa Claus. Ha!
Allfather from Freya. He is the main figure, and still he is the most pictured figure on the planet.
Tape must be switching over. What's going on? It's quiet here. 24, 21.
I think that we have been having one beautiful girl before. It is woman who could give order to the men. And the man was doing all his duty. In that way he created. To the woman she had the representing the Sarasa. And in that way she created this need to the right to give order to the men to create work. And when there come all these flowers and everything, because if you have some men, you want to make nice clothes because you need flowers. Of course it comes flowers. And when we lost this, we have no woman at all anymore. Because today, if you see this person who lives his life in his little box on the balcony, and after that he goes to his daily home with his Mickey Mouse pictures on the wall, and this woman doing something in the corner, making chocolate. And when it's raining, they are lifting them up with their plastic dresses. And after they go to school, and the same school, before they had girls' schools and boys' schools, they had kids and what was without children, so she was giving everything to the children. She was teaching all. So one teacher had not even right to be modern. And the woman teacher was teaching the women to be women. The men teacher was usually in the boys' school, making them to be men. And of course, this mathematics and everything, the business become on the men's side. So in the end, when everything become money, it the money created that the woman wanted to have same education as the man and do the same. So now they took over the man's side in the democracy and get the right to do the men thing. Before the woman had their thing to do and the men had their thing to do, and they need each other very much. Of course. If the woman had their thing to do and the men had their thing to do in the system, they would need each other because they did different things. But today we've been creating that we only do like one side. And the female side, it doesn't exist. I mean, Finland has already 45% of all women are transvestites. Symbolic.
So, that right there, like, that's getting into an explanation of just, like if there's one thing that I think needs to be, I think, explored a lot more as perhaps a perk of the Paradise Time, is a little bit of that socio-sexual hierarchy, because we do it already, right? We do it already, but we don't, like, it was just kind of, it was like unspoken, and for the longest time, it seemed like everything that, like, women did was an accessory, right? It's like, there's a reason why I had to make that video about the Stepford Wives, because I live in the town where part of the film was made. So I understand exactly the demographic they are targeting, which meant even if it was a shit film, it's fun for me because I live here. It's like, Matthew Broderick was standing right there. That's amusing. Right? That's why I had to watch it. On top of the very interesting ideas of the Stepford Wives, because people reference the Stepford Wives when they see it happen, and they probably have never watched it. I've referenced it without watching it, just knowing from, like, a meme here or there, getting the kind of, like, the point of it. And so I didn't even watch the original yet, because, like, I'm working that out without needing to really watch that, really. I don't have the time for all those kinds of little things. But my point is that we were kind of not really. It was like women seemed to be holding themselves back, while men seem to be driving themselves over a cliff, right? Just thinking about some of the toxic traits that are depicted in the way we live in classic media of social commentary, sometimes from very honest movies about certain slices of life from here or there, with mankind coping with that narrative, being the farm boy who made the urban industrial transition or whatever, right? And thus getting thrown into a dynamically different world. And, one of the worst things is, especially just being a single guy who probably has more fucking, is living around more things that than he needs, that he doesn't want to take care of, like, problems with, like, the tile floors in my bathroom and shit, but I've got other fucking problems I have to deal with first, and other personal responsibilities, and for fuck's sake, I need to find time to do this. Right? And it's just like, you end up being like, fuck, man. I don't know if I can be honest with myself about a relationship because of how bad I'd feel thinking in the dark recesses of my mind that, oh, thank God I got somebody who can clean up while I play, right? This is the argument that you have with your fucking man-child, your inner fucking voice that that hasn't fucking balanced that stupid part of the equation out so you can fucking act normal. Because you're burning with stupid insecurities that only you feel comfortable talking about in front of whoever amount of people care to watch my live stream.
Symbolisoida. The that it sounds to be some word. Of course, we can say the symbol of the big sperm tree, we find that to be very symbolical, of course, that we have all sperm on the planet is one oak tree. And this oak tree has all the brickheads of all the men on the planet. This becomes the oak tree. And in that way we can also understand it as a big tree, and we could also offer from the lowest class up to the brave. So in one concentrat of all people on the planet, he had anyway Ukko been drinking. So what kind of water in the end did he drink there in the paradise? That it was anyway one concentrat of all people's sperm on the planet. And now outside of the sperm we have the mahla. And mahla is Saab. S, and V. Saab. In Finland you can put one E more and you get one Saavi. And that's one place you put water in.
So it sounds like this part of the tape, this is we're gonna trudge through this and see how it goes, because somebody did a lot of work. You could tell somebody did a lot of work to try to minimize this, right? Because most of this has been pretty fine to work with, right? You know, okay at the very least. I let a lot of stuff pass out of a little bit of uncertainty out of what I thought that I heard, but at least you are also hearing it with me, and we can fill in each other's gaps upon any commentary that I make.
Today, in one shot. So it's one place for water. Which shot is inside in the leaf. And leaf means also life. So now we have two kinds of leaves. We have one leaf called blood, and the other leaf called löv. And löv is så lövtung, så lövthin, that the sun strålar go through the leaf, and now the strålar of the sun go also through the liquid inside in the leaf. Livmoder. What is that in one language? Livmoder. Once more.
Kohtu.
More.
Kohtu.
Kohtu. So kohtu is livmoder. So now, Saab, S-A-V, is one liquid you can take out only with fire.
All right, so here he's talking about the swab. So this is we heard Jim talk about the swastika. He's probably going to talk about the swastika now, right? Interesting stuff. And I'll mention this again because I heard it pop up. I was listening to Rotting Jewels talking about the Casolero family in Yonkers, and all of this is in connection to Danny Casolero's murder, the investigations, associations with the Process Church and Scientology, and so on and so forth. And there was some sort of organization associated with something being talked about towards the end of the stream called Philfot, Fylfot. And I double-checked the spelling from where she was reading it, and it's spelled Philfot, which is the only European word I know for the swastika. The swastika is a Sanskrit word, right? But that symbol, which has a very particular look, the Philfot, is technically the universal kind of Indo-European version of the swastika. It's called the Philfot. So it's very interesting that popped up.
And you can put this sab in one vase. One vase for the sab, or one sab in the vase. In one language called vase, vasi, in root vase, and in English vase. So vase is for the sab. We have in Sweden something called vas a kärven, what was used in the Gustav III time. Vas a kärven, what means the same like one bunch of straw with a seed. Vas. So sab has one contact with the straw larva from the sun. And also the straw larva go on one frö, and the frö come up one grud. And the grud come one straw, and the seed, the frö, from the straw and the fröhus, the fröhouse, is making new frö for to put down one frö, come up one grud, and the sunstrålar is making this grud to be one straw, and the straw has one head, the seed. So in the straw, we have also one straw bock, what is the symbol of Lemminkäinen. The straw bock, the olki pukki, in one language, is the symbol of Lemminkäinen Valder, the straw. He is also representing the sun, like Ukko and Akko. So Saab Vas. And Saab and Vas is also called, Saab is called Ma, O, and La. Ma is Asanas Mode, what has to do with Maya. Ma. Asanas Mode. And then Ma Ha, Asanas Hell. Ma Ha. Ma Ha. Mah. La. Asanas La. Together, T. Ma Ho. A, La, Mahla. So is A and Ho is Hell and Akka is A. But now Mahla is also the wetness inside in the feet, who is very, very important. And I take it the story only because I want to take it, that we men has one hammer of Thor, one Thor's hammer. And the woman has one kli, Thor, S, ubicum, ocum, clitoris. And that's one word that exists in every language on the planet, that they have not been changed. They can have some nickname for it in some language, but usually it's clitoris. There's such an inside name, they have not been changed. Our Thor's hammer is changed in every language, but the clitoris is the same if you ask one Chinese or one Red Indian from America. They have their inside same thing. And this is the most sensitive part of the woman, like the neck of the man. and the neck rose, and from the rose comes the sperm. So the neck is the sensitive part of the man, and the kli, tur, es, kli means that you scratch. And you scratch the tur, and the E is can also be porkana. The E can be anyway, that's what makes the effect to become wet. And this wetness could also be offered for akka. And in that way, it must have to do something with the female brain also. Otherwise, there is no motivation. So now, if you see that Ukko, in the symbolic, he has one crown with 3 oak leaves in his ring. He has one ring around his head, like hat, with 3 oak leaves. So he is the oak's crown.
Okay, so if I heard that correctly, so he's got a crown on his head of 3 oaks. So this is a tri-crown formation.
Ukko has the crown of the oak. Because the oak is all sperm on the planet, and he has all these sperms crown with the oak leaf. So in that way, the crown is very symbolic. You can also, of course, make one of gold and put it on the head. But the crown is to understand as one crown of one tree. The same like Seepuu also has one crown. The crown of Seepuu, Udenspåle Se. And in that way also Maya should be crowned. And she is offering for her mother Akka. In the same way as Seppo is offering for his father Ukko. In this offering system. So it should be exactly equal how the system has gone. And in this Ma-Ho, L-A, says the whole thing. It means the female wetness, the Mahava, not only the livmoder, löv, strålar through the löv, because Seppo has lagerkrans, and lager is blood, so he has nothing to do with the Mahava at all. Seppo. That show it because they put one krans of lager who has no Mahava, that he has nothing to do with the Mahava at all. Seppo. It's only Maya, the Mahava. Otherwise they shouldn't have these 2 leaves, löv och blad. So, Seppo. We have another language book. We go from Ars, hell. So we have Ars, hell. Hell is the center of Udenma, and there live the Ars. So there is Ars, hell with the Ars language, who is one 12 system language, when the Van language is one 10 system language. And now from the Ars, hell, to hell, Ars, is we were going one me, ri, ti, an line. Me, ekensbone, ri, is, ra, meridian is the meridian line. And on the other side of this meridian line comes one culture called Hellas, with the center of Creta. And now Creta has East and West Creta, in same way as we have East and West Udenma. And East and West Udenma is also the line who go up to the North Pole, down and through East-West Creta up to East-West Udenma. So that was the old meridian line before it became removed to England, 1675. it became Greenwich outside of London. So this line was crossing Udenma before and crossing also Creta, the center of Hellas. So Hellas to Arshel and Arshel to Hellas. And now they make there one architecture who later on become Pompeii. So Pompeii is built in Hellas classical architecture. And in that way, this Hellas language come to be one Roman-based language called Latin. So when Jupiter is going over to Rome and Zeus is going over to Istanbul, Jupiter, from there comes St. Peter's Church with a writing system who went out when before the old system was broke, they make one writing system where the Pope in Rome is writing one letter every week, duplicated by his monks, is sent it to all archbishops on the planet. The archbishop is duplicating the letter from Pope and sending it to the all bishops. And the bishop sent it to the vicar, and the vicar to the priest. And in Finland, from 1500 up to 1523, we had to listening, or 27, we had to listening to the Pope's letter every week in the church. So it was like 10 o'clock news at that time. The people who had right to go to the church could hear one letter who had been written in Rome, gone up to from the bishop to the from archbishop, bishop, vicar to the priest. And this language was Latin. So all the priests had to learn the Latin to could translate in their own brain to Finnish language for the Finnish people to listen. And all other people outside of the caste of the Pope was killed who could write and read. So Shakespeare could never have been existing in 1400. He could first exist in 1500. Because if he should have been living in 1400, they should have been killing him as one person who can write and read outside of the church caste. So in that way, the church make one monopole of writing and reading, who make one enormous interest in Finland to every Sunday go to church and listening from the last news, from the international news from Rome. And
so right there, guy, that's CNN. That's like you go to the airport, there it is, right? You go to the restaurant, the bar. There it is. You know, it's equally mind-numbing and radicalizing at the same time. It's a perfect postmodern psychosis, right? And so you had to go to church every week because you had to keep up with reality. Right? If you wanted to stay on your P's and Q's and not accidentally get excommunicated, you better hear what the fucking Pope had to say and how that priest interprets what he fucking said. Think about that for a fucking second. That is, and you know what? I don't think I've ever seen that depicted in the movies. I don't think that's been, you know, I don't think that's in the footnotes of the humor that we call history class, right? It's like, where is that? That's reality. Where the fuck is it? And you'll then dig for it, find it, right? I'm assuming that if I dig for this, I'm going to find it, right? I haven't dug for it yet. I'm making that assumption because, you know, like, I've come back to this as retroactively more and more stuff has come to me. It becomes a greater time for me to go and recall it and get into the material with so much more to say after so much more research, personal experience, so on and so forth. So yeah, you know, that's what it was like And so, reality changed week to week. And we got faster and faster and faster at communicating and thinking. And and I don't know if there was an in-between, because this has never been measured before, to my knowledge, right? Like, what happened to that particular, like, week-to-week message from the Pope? This is what's his face? This is Roosevelt. Fireside chats, man. This is fucking fireside chats. I think we get it.
Now in this Latin is existing also word who is based on root from as hell, who gone down to hell as. From Hellas it has gone to the Latin language and came back in a written form to Finland. Not absolute, but many parts, it's straight root, what we present today in a form of Latin.
The further point I actually wanted to make was, we sped up, right? So, eventually, like, you get the daily newspaper. Somebody's giving you your talking points of the day, right? So imagine a human mind that is caught in a 1-week loop, right? And now we have human minds caught in a 1-day loop. And then, like, at a certain point, you're getting a consistent news feed because there's CNN at the airport. Now you're on a 3 to 4 times a day loop. And now, smartphone in hand, you're just on a loop as much as you want to be on the loop. And you'll be in the loop every time you look at the effing thing because of ads.
And when we see that Zeus and Jupiter go out, and both of them is making written system. From Jupiter comes St. Peter Church in Rome, and from Zeus come Hagia Sophia in Turkey. From Hagia Sophia is a written system who go out to the all Greek Orthodox people on the planet, who also become Russia over 987. And Sweden from 1008. They introduced this writing system, who make houses on the countryside to be centers as before in the church, the QRQ, Q means the prick, and we have altar E, everybody take E, altar in the church, and everybody take E, altar E. But in this E thing must be also the female wetness thing, because it must have some comparisons with the cock, with the car root or moor root or bock. The whole E association in all these offer system and things like that, because it's so much inside this E in also the female thing. The men always see that they their own machine and the spot of the whole thing. But in the associations in this system also the E is very important for the woman, and also of course the children born from the E. So in the language thing we can see that the language we speak, the English today, it go out from root, go over actually Norway to one island system outside of Norway. And from this language, this English people has been spreading it out all over the planet. So today we can sit here and speak English together. What is actually one fantastic gift from the English people who could give it to all the people on the planet, so we can sit anywhere and speak English. And English is also based on pure root sound via Sven had done to England.
Now, my personal thinking on it is that that's probably more a commentary on Old English, right? Or at least I think we need to make sure that as far as the purity of the context of that statement, right? Because English has changed dramatically since the time of specifically, going to church and getting the Pope's bullshit shoved down your throat every fucking week because you didn't have anyone else allowed to write and read and all that fun nonsense, right? So, but I think what I want to do is we've been at it for about 90 minutes, and there's about 45-ish minutes, or no, maybe about 45, a little less than 45 minutes left on this, and I think I'll save that for one more live stream on this. I think I want to call it a night right here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm looking here at the chat. If there's anything you guys want to get off yo chest before I call it an evening, just let me know. If you guys want to get any tarot rune readings from me, zeralath@yahoo.com, zeralath@yahoo.com. I've got I think I'm off until the 26th. I'm not sure. I think I might need to go in Monday. I don't remember. So I may have a lot of availability. So shoot me an email, and I will do a thing, and we'll get you a reading. Zeralath@yahoo.com. I'm $80 for half an hour, $120 for an hour. All right. I will I'll catch you guys soon. Good night.